Welcome guys to yet another video of Anno 1800. In this video I'm gonna tell you about a few tips and tricks that I found out on the way. These are advanced tips, keep that in mind. It's not like build your sawmill close to the lumberjack's hut, something like that. That's not this. It's advanced tips that can help you improve your game when you reach a certain point. So let's start off. First tip is about moving houses. I realize this is only possible when you enabled moving structures, but it's going to help you out a lot to make your city much more beautiful. So what I noticed is when you want to upgrade from an investor to an engineer, you're definitely gonna need electricity. If you don't have electricity, it's just not gonna cut it. So for example, in this section here, I have an oil power plant over here, and I didn't want another plant in this section over here because it was just gonna ruin my city. So what I did, I basically picked up all the investors, I mean engineers, right, and relocated them to a place where they can upgrade, for example here. And then I moved one of the investors back over here. Well, you gotta make sure the angles are right, but I'm sure you get the point. Next tip also comes with the first tip, basically, is deleting buildings that you're not gonna need anymore. So let me show you what I mean. As you can see, the needs of an artisan are different than the needs of an investor. So an artisan needs a university, a school, and to be happy it needs a church and a variety theater. An investor doesn't need any, it needs electricity, but it doesn't need any buildings like schools or churches, whatever, to for needs, and it wants a members club and a bank to be happy. So in this section over here, I don't have any people lower than investors, so I'm not gonna need things like university, for example. I think I don't need this. No. So I can actually, I didn't even notice this, I can actually remove this building over here without any consequence. And what I can do now is move these buildings around and just go over here, pick up some of the stuff I need and make it a lot more pretty.
In one of your factories.
Yeah. That's the wrong one. I need another corner. This looks nice. Alright, so now it looks a lot better. And you didn't spend any money on it. And what I'm gonna do now, of course, is just basically fill the gaps again. Where did I do this? Well, you're gonna notice soon enough. Here, and over here. Right? So this section is a lot more crowded now, and I'm not spending money on a university anymore. So while I'll still have a church and whatever university over here to upgrade these smaller houses, I don't need it anymore over here. So that was my second tip. Let's go on to the third tip. When you have a World's Fair, when you reach that level, as you can see, you're gonna need requirements like a banquet, exquisite selection. Let me just show you. Wait. So let me just start this. And as you can see, I need champagne, the furs, soup, chocolate, and cigars. Well, on this island I'm not producing this resource, and usually you also get some weird resource like bananas or fried plantations, fried bananas, whatever. So what I would suggest is just load your warehouse full of everything. I didn't do that yet, but it makes it a lot faster, right? So he has to get all this stuff. I don't have this, so what I'm gonna have to do now is get a ship, move it from another island to my island. It's really not efficient. So I would suggest collect all of the ingredients, literally everything on your island before starting this, so you can basically push a lot of fairs through in a short amount of time. So that was my third tip. Going on to my fourth tip. I noticed this when I was having I have a lot of ships now. Let's see, it's a lot. So on my island in the at some point I noticed there was no resources coming in anymore. So on one of my islands here, I'm not sure which one anymore, I think it was this one. No, it was not that one. Yeah, it was this one. I noticed that I mean the space is really crowded, right? So so there's not a lot of beach, and I have to farm pearls here. So these are the only two. These are actually the only two beaches. Not a lot. I need a lot of people. Need a lot of fish oil. So there was not a lot of space. And if you reach a certain point, you're gonna need more than one harbor. I mean, you're gonna need a small trading post, or what's it called, pier, here in this game. But what I noticed is that it was all getting clogged up. So what you can do to prevent this is basically just building a pier. Wait, quay, because otherwise the ships can move here. It's gonna really mess up everything in the end. So that's my fourth tip, to stop blockades from forming at your harbors. Yes. Moving on to tip number 5. There's some this is more of a cosmetic tip. So there's some sort of bug in this game that when you're gonna upgrade from dirt roads to brick roads, and on the crossings it's just not gonna do it. It's really annoying. Easy solve. Basically just remove the 4 points, in this case 3, and lay them back again. So not really much of a useful tip, more of a cosmetic tip, but it will actually make your city look a lot nicer. Moving on to tip number 6. You should really at this point start building efficient acres. So for example, on this island I'm producing canned food for my main island. What I did here is just I basically started here. No, I didn't start here, I started here. And you're gonna try to maximize the amount of land you can take. So this is really not useful for building any buildings because you're just gonna waste space. And to build a farm, you only need one strip of acre, and you can just build whatever you want. So there's no distance limit on the acre, and you need to use that to make really large acres. I mean, it's a lot more efficient. You're gonna use the space really efficient, and also looks pretty nice. I also did something similar here. So here I'm producing beer. I have all my hop farms over here. As you can see, they're spread it out really nicely. So here, right, and one more over here for the acres for grain. Also did a similar thing. So as you can see, this is a really long stretched one, just to make sure all the space is used and nothing goes to waste. Because I mean, yeah, this is just an annoying spot usually to build buildings on, but now I maximized pretty much all of the space. So that's my number 6 tip for you guys. When you reach a higher level, you're really gonna need this to pull out everything out of the island. Moving on to tip number 7. Tip number 7, this is more of a strategic tip, and it's about taking over islands. So you're gonna probably at some point run into the point that you want to take over an island. This is the guy's main island, but you don't have a lot of ships. So how are you gonna do that? So normally, let's say in this case, these are my ships. I have 6 ships. They're coming in, and this guy already has his guns here at somewhere around here, maybe around here. These guys are gonna shoot at them. They can't shoot back yet, so you're gonna probably already lose one ship because your ships are in reach of the guns over here, but the guns are not in the range of your ships yet. That's really annoying. So what you can do to counter this, you gotta make sure you're not at war with this guy yet, right? I'm not gonna show you this at the moment because I don't want to ruin this guy, but what you can do is basically move your ships, all your ships over here. You're gonna spam click in front of the trading post, and it's gonna look a little weird. It's gonna cram eventually every ship in this area. Yes, so like this, just like this. And what this will do, it will make, it will concentrate the power of your ships in just this area. And once you declare war, you're gonna start firing at, well, the most damage is done from the big baddie. You're gonna destroy this first. So you're gonna spam click this thing. After that, you're gonna move over to the cannons. And last, these are the last guys you have to worry about. They're not that powerful. And in that way, you can, in some cases, take over an island with not that many ships, without taking too much casualties, by drifting in and getting shot before you even arrive. So tip number 7. Moving on to tip number 8, and that's about planning. playing railroads. What I noticed in my first game was that I didn't plan the railroads, and it was really annoying to move everything around to make sure that my railroads were gonna fit in. So for railroads, you need a power plant. That's not so much of a problem, but because yeah, for example here you can just move a few buildings. It looks pretty nice as well. It's not really a problem, but the train track itself, it's really important that you plan this ahead. So I suggest you use the double road with one space in between, where you want to go and put your railroads later, because if you don't, it's gonna be really annoying to do that. Tip number 8: planning railroads ahead. Moving on to tip number 9: warehouses work as roads. This is a really useful tip for maximizing the land you use. So, for example, over here, well, I actually sort of need to upgrade this, but it's not that much of a problem. As you can see, road comes in from here, it goes into the warehouse, and it goes out on the other way of the warehouse. It's not so much that it works as a road, but it will say this is connected to the harbor. So the cars cannot move through the warehouse, but they can move on this section of the road, on this section of the road, and you're gonna just need less space for roads, basically. So I would definitely take this advantage in building your city. Tip number 10. I noticed that when you run out of engineer workforce, power is just gonna turn off. So, for example, if I run out of workers, the production is just gonna slow down. It's not gonna fully stop. What happens when I run out of engineers is that the oil power plant will just completely come to a halt, right? So what it will cause when I dip below a certain point, it will also take away this electricity, and it will drop the amount of people that live here dramatically by I think about, let's see, it's 2 people per house. That's not what you want. So you gotta keep an eye on those guys. As you can see, I have a lot of extra engineers, just to make sure power won't drop. And also for your factories, that's the second part. When I lose engineers, also all the factories are gonna lose power. And a lot of them need power to produce goods. Let's see, I'm just gonna pause this for a second just to show you. Okay, so the motor assembly, bicycle factory, bicycle factory, these all really need power. The clockmaker, they need power to produce goods. If they don't have power, they're not producing goods, and before you know, your island is also gonna run out of these goods, and you're just gonna fall down a negative spiral, and yeah, you're just gonna ruin your city. So make sure you never run out of engineers. And last but not least, this is also, yeah, this also has to do with the train tracks. What I've noticed, yeah, let me give you an example. Let me set up an example. Be right back. So while I was planning this city, I messed something up, and this was not aligning, right? So here's the train track, here's the road, and I didn't have space for a double road here anymore. So what's gonna happen here? This guy has no connection to the harbor. What you can do to counter this? Okay, let's move these again. Double track, double road. I mean, make a crossway. Delete this road. The crossway will stay, and you have a connection to the harbor, my friend. No problem. It's I mean, it could be useful in some situations, and it also minimizes the space that you use for your city. I hope they won't patch this out, because it's a pretty useful feature. And yeah, this was the last advanced tip that I wanted to give you guys today. If I find out more glitches, tips that you can use building your city, I will definitely share them with you. If you like this video, oh, what's here? Crap. I'm gonna fix this fast. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you later. Bye.